Good day. My name is Cholo. I'm going to be presenting to you the sociology assignment number three. And okay. Max Weber is a prominent sociologist that has developed a way to classify the types of authority. This classification is still used until today. And the three types of authority that according to Max Weber, is as follows: traditional authority, rational legal authority, charismatic authority. Traditional authority is a type of authority that is rooted in tradition. The power that is the ruling family is given to them by the people that they rule. The power is often inherited by the ruling monarch. It could be a king or a queen. It can be passed on with a succession line, usually to their oldest child. Power is handed on regardless of their qualification to perform the job. The royal family tends to be believed that they were descended from God, or that their power was given to them, or they were ordained by God to rule over the masses. Throughout the years, throughout centuries actually, the Royal Empire, British Empire, believed that they are descended from, or they were ordained by God to rule over the world. So they wanted to spread everything in the world, so to be under the rules, to be under one king or queen. And it's, for example, too, in Japan, they believe that their god, that their emperor descended from the sun god, and then their family throughout these years are the power is passed on, and eventually their power were they were actually asked to renounce this power, that they are not deity, um, they are not holy, they're not mystic, that they are just regular people during the World War II, the end of the World War II. So that is an example of that. Rational legal authority is a legality of the authority based on legal laws that is assigned that assigns the power to that person or group of people. A good example of this is going to be the democracy, which is what we have here in the United States. Presidents, senators, congressmen, and governors are voted by the people, and even people who are in the student council, community centers, community programs. Then the succession is given to the next person who is voted by the people again during an election. In this case, we follow legal rules that is usually part of something written. It could be the Constitution, or a manifesto, or some rules and regulations that the county or the area or group of people have acknowledged, accepted that it's going to be the way they're going to do things. And this is the most common type of authority that we have in this world. More than half of the countries in this world has this form of democracy, or a type of rational legal authority, which is a democracy. Charismatic authority. The authority is given to the people, to that person or group of people, by their followers, whether that's a small group or people, small group of people or millions of people. Their personal accomplishments, speeches, or their promises on how the future is going to be is what their followers hang on to, so that they can follow this person more. Could some of these leaders, such as Martin Luther King, could actually lead into a good civil rights movement that opened many people's eyes about the atrocity that is going on with the black community in the United States. This could also be the case for our Adolf Hitler. He was a very good orator, a very good speaking, and his speeches are very powerful, causes a lot of people to follow him and take notice. And sadly, following that man ended up causing deaths of millions. Another example of this could be religious leaders. They could have massive churches that their congregation could bring in millions and millions of money, millions and millions of dollars in their congregation. Some of them ask for seed faith money so that they can put it in, so that it will help them get closer to God due to their promises, whether it be some product that they're selling, a better afterlife, a product you won't even see until you're dead. And sometimes they even say how to vote on their congregation. If, say, a person aligns better with what they believe or can help propel their organization better, they would say to vote a certain way or vote the other way, be against certain things because it goes against their dogma. In some cases too. Another one is Steve Jobs, one of the more recent ones. His Apple product, he is pretty much one of the most, well, Apple products are the most used product. And as a piece of technology, whether it be tablets or the phone, many people would not have reached to this point if it wasn't his charisma, his idea, his drive to be able to get into this point. So he's selling his product. He pretty much got everybody to be excited for his product. So those charisma can be often done with people who are so good, had such strong presence that many people would follow them because of that. For me, the most efficient form of authority is a rational legal authority. This is going to be where the majority's voice is heard in the society, because it's democracy. The majority wins. The majority rules. There's a rule for the transition of power. It is written down in our constitution that a president has can have 2 terms, and then in order for in order for somebody to a president to have a second term, he must be voted on, and he cannot do any more time than that. It stops him from having a monopoly of power because there is should be a smooth transition of power, and it's this system works best if the population is informed. Though there are sometimes some cases that some political party would love and prefer the masses to be uninformed due to use of scary words, socialism, communism, or something like that. It is the most used throughout the world. It is used by more than half of the countries in the world. Though there is a downside of this one. The downside is that sometimes the people that we voted for, who's supposed to serve the masses, ends up going against what the masses need. An example for this one is going to be Ferdinand Marcos in the Philippines, who wanted to rule longer because royal his time to as a president has ended, and he set up martial law and ended up causing many people who are against him to be imprisoned or killed. The rule of law keeps everybody in line, and the people who are in power are given that power with by the people that they serve. Sometimes, though, the contract between the people that serves us and the people that put them in power ends up being broken. These are rules that we have set upon, like such as firemen are supposed to take out fires or put out fires. Doctors are supposed to care for people who are sick, and the police are supposed to protect and serve the community that they serve. However, that contract could be violated. One of the cases that we've seen lately is for George Floyd, and so many more black lives that had been lost because of racial inequality, racism, and bias that the police have had for decades, might even be centuries. You could see a bunch of people rioting and protesting in regards for this social reform that they want to happen. They want people to acknowledge the people who are in power that were put in there by the people, to respect them, to treat them equally, and have a value of what the person's life, or actually everybody's life, should be equal. But in order for that to happen, black lives need to start mattering first. And recently, too, January 6th, there was an insurrection that happened. Many, many Americans went up to the White House, went to the Congress, actually, not the White House, tried to protest the rule of law and tried to take down the vice president, which was Mike Pence, and wanted to reinstate President, I don't even want to say his name, the 45th president, to go back in power and say that the election was stolen from them. This is an efficient form of power that people do, but it can also be very, very fragile. Thank goodness this is the only one that I know, and I do want to be able to fight for it. As a society, it needs to work with rules and everything like that. We need to follow the rules, and then maybe in the future we can prevent more things like this to happen. Thank you so much. And these are my references for this presentation. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.